When you look at it from a broad perspective, the horror genre can still be considered as niche. It only appeals to a small portion of the gaming audience. And while studios try to change their formulas and make their games appealing to the broader audience, they take risks and sometimes even lose their core audience in the process. Either they make horror games that are less horror oriented or something completely different than what was expected. To see a studio making horror games in a consistent manner is quite rare these days. It's risky business. Horror doesn't sell as much as your other genres. It doesn't sell as much as, say, shooters, or it doesn't sell as much as that new wave of video games that make the character a funny animal and give them a quirky persona. You know the ones. Horror-focused studios are rare because most studios don't want to take risks, and that is okay, it's completely understandable. Everybody is in this business to make money after all, and it's how the world operates. But regardless, some studios still stick to their horror roots and keep giving us new horror games every few years. Bloober Team with their ever-improving IPs, now remaking Silent Hill 2 and also working on their own original horror IPs, or Frictional Games who are now carrying the Amnesia series into survival horror. What else? There is the Red Barrels with their Outlast series and the upcoming Outlast Trials. And obviously the subject of today's video, Supermassive Games and their The Dark Pictures anthology. Started their horror journey with the PlayStation 4 exclusive Until Dawn, they very quickly proved themselves to be people that understood horror. Until Dawn is considered as one of the genre's classics, and for good reason too. It was a remarkable horror experience. After Until Dawn, Supermassive Games wanted to take full control of their creative direction and decided to make a new series free from Sony's exclusive hungry clutches. The Dark Pictures anthology, a 4 games horror series with each game being completely different from the others. While the games had mixed receptions, they were still pretty good horror games. They kept improving their formulas by adding new mechanics with each entry, and The Devil in Me being the last entry in this first season, it is clear that they learned and improved a lot. Hello everybody, my name is Urjan and welcome to a new horror visuals video. Today, as you've already seen, I'll be reviewing The Devil in Me, the latest entry in the Dark Pictures anthology by Supermassive Games. It's a narrative-driven horror game where every choice you make have consequences in the overall story. It has multiple characters with their own personal traits that you can affect with your choices. These choices could save their lives or lead them to some gruesome deaths. Since this is the 4th entry in the series, I won't go into too much detail as to how it plays. I'll keep it short, you probably have an idea already. The Devil in Me, in its opening sequence, takes us to Chicago, to a very well-known location for horror fanatics, to the murder castle of H.H. Holmes, or also known as America's first serial killer. His hotel of terror was full of deadly traps and maze-like corridors that helped him kill lots of people. After this tutorial-like flashback sequence ends, the game opens up to our main characters. It's an indie horror film crew that are currently making a documentary about H.H. Holmes. They get an invitation from a mysterious person calling them over to an exact replica of H.H. Holmes' murder castle that is built on an island. Alas, it was too good to be true. I mean, sure, the replica part of it is true, but whoever it is that called them there has some sinister plans for them. One thing Supermassive has done really well this time, and they've been improving on this ever since Man of Medan, is that the characters this time around are actually really likable. The game takes its sweet time before opening up and gives you some time to get to know these characters, how they behave, what are their significant qualities, their strengths, weaknesses, which items do they carry, how are their relationships with each other, etc. This is especially important for a game such as this because you will want to make all the correct decisions to keep them alive. Well, sure, this is essentially the main objective of the game. Genuinely caring about these characters naturally makes the whole thing more immersive and horrifying. That for me was a big problem in Man of Medan and Little Hope because the characters were unlikable, they weren't really engaged in each other, they basically didn't really have anything interesting going on. Supermassive fixed this problem with House of Ashes and The Quarry, and in this one it seems like they perfected it. While the studio is known for making movie-like horror games and the experiences they craft are usually pretty straightforward, this time around they put a little variety in it. While the game still follows that same movie-like formula, this time it feels slightly more like a video game with usable items, optional collectibles, again optional plot secrets that are spread around levels, and also the characters also play much better in a gameplay sense. They have more fluid movements, they're quicker, and in general they're capable of doing more than just walk. Just like in a party-based role-playing game, some characters have their own unique items and the abilities to help them survive in this death maze. For example, Mark has a camera that he can use to photograph evidence so they can use them in the future, or how he uses his tripod stick or whatever it's called to reach items on higher places. Erin has a boom microphone that she uses in one of her sequences, and it's a pretty memorable, scary sequence thanks to the superb audio design. Or there is Jamie, who is a pseudo technician. She understands how to operate electrical things and solves some puzzles using that ability. Things like these, sure, seem small, but when you look at it from an improvement perspective, it shows that Supermassive is learning and making that formula even better with each game. There are still things that they need to improve. For example, some movements require so much input from the player. A simple move like picking up something from a drawer requires so much button work. You press R2 to open the drawer is locked. You press more buttons to unlock the drawer. You press R2 again to open it. You pick up the thing in it. If you let go of R2, the drawer closes, and then you gotta do it again. You see how mundane it is even when I simply talk about it, right? If they shave that a bit, maybe get some of that clutter out of it while still preserving the weight that they're clearly trying to maintain in those characters, I think the formula might get even better. It would benefit so much from that. That and the visual fidelity could clearly use an upgrade. The Quarry, their previous game published by 2K, was significantly better looking. Obviously this is not to say that the game looks bad, but it sorta looks aged, if that makes sense. Some textures pop up as washed out, some character and facial animations are very robotic, and they momentarily take you out of the experience, while the idea is to keep you immersed instead. I expect them to up their visual game in the second season. It's probably going to happen. Other than this, there's also the problem of writing. In some situations, the dialogues seem to be so unrealistic. Like you say, the characters wouldn't say that in that situation. Like, come on, let's be real. But it's fine. They're trying to make their own thing. They're trying to create their own universe around their own idea of horror. So it's fine. But it could be improved just a bit. This time around, the choices you make in the game are also pretty well thought overall. Characters don't die simply by missing a button prompt and tripping over a rock, breaking their neck in the process. The game gives you multiple chances when you miss a beat, and it branches even further, creating a personalized experience. Although, I gotta say, one of my characters have died at the very end, like at the end sequence. Like, the game is going to end in a few seconds, but he died because because the game wasn't as clear as to what I was supposed to do. But hey, maybe that was the point and I should have been more careful, I don't know. But he died, I'm pissed. Overall, I really enjoyed my time with The Devil in Me. According to what Steam says, it took me around 10 hours to finish it. As I said in the beginning, it's easy to talk about the negatives of these games, but I think it's also important to see their positives and talk about them more frequently. We have enough negativity in the genre, and it's crucial to appreciate the good things in it so we can have more. I believe in Supermassive's talent, and I know for sure that they're gonna bring us an improved, polished, and even better Season 2. If you're thinking about picking up The Devil in Me, just treat it like it's a horror movie. Don't take it too seriously, appreciate its use of cliché horror tropes, embrace its sometimes cringy dialogue, and really just treat it like a horror product that is focused on entertaining you. Don't look too deep into it. Don't go in looking for an intricate, extremely deep story with deeply written characters, because this game isn't about that. Supermassive Games were never about bringing an experience such as that. They always wanted to make movie-like horror games, like a nostalgic tone. And it is clear that they're finally so close to perfecting that formula. I believe it's gonna be just perfect in their new season. As always, thank you all for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm still working on that next video I promised. This was just an unplanned, small, short review that I wanted to make because I like the game so much. As I said, there is negative buzz around it, and it's important to say some positive things as well. It's been a little since it's out too, so probably this video isn't gonna get that many views, but it's fine. I just wanted something positive to be out there. You can find all my links down below in the description, and thank you for watching. I hope you have a great new year. I'll see you on the next one.